Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry there wasn't one of these the other day, or an episode of Wraith Online. I am still sick. I was sick yesterday. I got ill yesterday. I'm still sick now, but I might have the energy to do Wraith Online tonight. We will see. Definitely have enough juice to do the final 3 characters, because it turns out there is 3 characters, because I forgot about this guy. I forgot about Bane. God damn it. Alright, so we're gonna do Bane first, and then we'll do the final 2 characters, Zod and Martian Manhunter. Oh, jeez. I need to be careful with me talking, though. It's gastrointestinal, I know that much, so it's like a stomach bug. It's left me with gas and terribleness. And I think for this one... let's beat up... yeah, let's beat up the Joker.
The Joker.
And I'm pretty sure I've covered every stage. At least in one video. Just trying to think if I missed anyone. Did Arkham Asylum Wayne Manor, which they have duplicates at the Metropolis. Sorry if this is not the greatest one, but I just have to make sure I did stuff. So let's go to the Batcave then. Which is going to be very weird to see villains in the Batcave, but I mean, Bane's been here before. So, Bane is a neutral power punch. I like how power punch is lowercase across the board. Bane is a grappling character with pretty scary movement options. Like, his dashes are very good. We'll start with Fist Slam. This doesn't, he doesn't really get anything off of it raw, but it's, holy shit! Lucho Power Punch is 14%? That's stronger than a throw in this game. What the hell? I think it's like, it is way weaker. Like, this one normal attack is stronger than either a back 3 or a forward 3. That's insane. Anyways, Body Splash. 9% damage, so it's a good in-between for this and this. And you'll probably be using Body Splash more because it's a really good cross-up too. Like, it does really good damage. And you can get combos going. See what I mean? Let me see here. Yeah, Bane's a legacy character, but he's not 100% legacy. There's a few things that he does in this game that aren't the same as what he has done before. So, we'll start with the strings. Juiced? Is that still 14? Because it's Lucho Power Punch. Yeah, so it's a weaker version of Lucho Power Punch. That can't be charged. So, Juiced is what you would end things with. If you do, like, let's say you get a launcher going. Problem is that look at the distance he has, and Bane has no projectiles. Outside of what he can use in the environment, he doesn't have any projectiles, so he's got to get in or use trait. Feel the Pain is the better way to go. Generally, if you're punishing somebody with this fast high, because you're gonna get stuff afterwards, like this. Or maybe this one? There it is. There we go. That's why it's so low damage. That overhead doesn't actually do that much damage. Bitter Taste comes off of a pretty good ranged low. And it also launches. And it can be special canceled. Okay. Yeah, so. If I can do this. Yeah, it's not special cancelable. I forgot the dashes on the CD are not special cancelable. There's a mid that launches here, but you can't do any specials. You can only do special attacks. But you can definitely, in the corner, use Final Strike. Or can you? Really? Not even with a low poke? Maybe with an uppercut then, because that's about the only thing I can think of that this would No, you can't do anything after this string, even in the corner, except for a special move. Whereas you can actually loop Field of Pain in the corner. Venom Strength has a pseudo launcher in the off of this, but you can't really even get a background bounce off of. You can only get a special move. And it knocks back as well. Nightfall comes off of this big low. Because of how high the leg goes, I actually get caught by this because I keep thinking it's an overhead. But there is an overhead that knocks down, giving Bane enough time to dash in. And then maybe throw, for instance. Then we got Master of Disguise, Varus Liberat, and Infinite Crisis. You'll notice that he doesn't have his throw off of the off of this as an ender. That was added in Injustice 2, but we'll talk about that later. Master of Disguise launches, and while hang on a sec. Yo!
You want a chocolate chip cookie?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Little sister asking for a cookie. It's her birthday. She gets to have the cookie. Anyway, yeah, you can use Master of Disguise if you don't want to get punished for going for a high because there's a big low in there. Low, launch. Gotta get something else in there too in order to get a background bounce, but you can totally get stuff off of that. And then there's Veritas Liberat, True Strength. I believe it's in Spanish. I believe it's True Strength, but I no hablo en español, so this just does the big boot. No real reason to use this. I don't know why there's like it lands effect. I don't know. Maybe it's just like that's weird. Anyway, Infinite Crisis knocks the opponent back. It's this giant drop kick, which is hella unsafe if it whiffs. But it has really good range, and despite how it looks, it's actually a mid. Keep forgetting that I have my notifications on. Hang on. There we go. But that's that for combo attacks. Now let's talk special moves. Bane only has 5, and remember, none of these are projectiles. The closest thing he has to a ranged option is Raging Charge, and we'll talk about that later. Body Press is a command grab in NetherRealm style, so it's quarter circle back then forward. It does decent damage on its own, 16%, and then if you amplify it, you get 21% off of 1 bar in 1 input. That's not bad. And you can use this as a combo ender. Really easy example, almost 30%. Look at this damage. One bar, 41%, and you're in the corner, which, particularly with grapplers like Bane, is a very dangerous place to be. But what if you've managed to corner Bane? You can throw them backwards. You can throw them backwards, kind of like you can with the other command grab that he has in Injustice 2. It's funny, kind of like Green Lantern, Bane had a lot of his special moves changed in Injustice 2, but they were available as gear options in Injustice 2. So, and one thing I should also mention is that 41% combo was without his trait, which is infamous, but we'll talk about that later. Raging Charge is 15% mid, charge at the opponent, and with the trait, this could stop projectiles because he gains armor. So it's an armor charge that he can then meter burn for a little more damage. This can also end combos and occasionally side switch, but not recommended for that. Double Punch! Or at least, not entirely recommended for that. There is a little bit of OP there, and you can if you want, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. Double Punch comes off of a pretty fast overhead and just acts as an ender. Oh god, excuse me. God's not agreeing with me. But if you amplify it, you get an extra hit that bops the opponent back. Venom Uppercut, I believe, is an invincible wake up. I didn't talk about this, and I didn't talk about invincible wake ups because I don't remember what they were, but maybe I'll make a separate video about those invincible wake ups. Anyhow, 10% mid, launches upwards, great anti-air too, and if you amplify, you get an overhead drop kick. I believe, yeah, it's active pretty much the whole way through. So as long as he's in like the drop kick phase, I'm pretty sure you can't punish him. Yeah, it's stupid, but it's ridiculously active. Then there's Ring Slam, which is his anti-air grab. Technically, there's 4 different animations for this, but if I remember right, yeah, they all do the same damage. So 14%. So I'm just trying to think of a way that I could get this reliably. Let's see. So we got head down towards the opponent, head down away from opponent. Yeah, it's all the same. So if I do this, oh, yeah, it's all the same damage. It's just you get different properties based off of where they are. So you get that, and then you slide them back. You can do this and keep them relatively close. You can do this, which is probably the best one because it leaves them the closest and it's over the quickest. And then you have this one, which is that distance. And you can kind of tell just based off of how they are when you land the attack. Like you could tell Joker's face down and his head is towards Bane, so you get the slide. His feet are at Bane and he's facing up, so he gets the leg slam. He's facing up and the head's towards Bane, so he gets, with the right timing, you get that one. And then if it's face down, legs towards Bane, he gets the slam. The animations don't really matter outside of variety, but this is generally a really good combo ender. And you can't amplify this, but the raw damage you get is not bad. Now let's talk about his trait, Venom Boost. So, this is a buff system that has different levels. So we'll start with level 1, where, let's see, does he have the 5%? I believe. No, that shove is not 5%, but it knocks down. Uppercut, of course. I forgot uppercuts are always 5%. So that's a 10% increase in damage. Level 2 is 25, and then level 3 is 33%. I think it's 33% anyway. No, I think it's 50% because, yeah, it is 50% because this is 50%. So. But the thing is that as Bane juices himself up, he enters a state where his overall movement and he even takes a little more damage. But at level 1, this is basically negligible. He loses some of his damage for sure, but it's not that much. He loses 20% damage and it's back almost right away. You could theoretically just do your level 1 stuff. And then just throw them. to get your stuff back. Again, you are only losing 10%, about 20% of the damage that you do. So with the throw, you're only down to 10%. So it's still not bad. Level 2. Again, 33%. But you're doing 40% less damage, and the debuff lasts a little bit longer. Then there's level 3. Like I said, 50% more damage. So, look at that. But now, Bane is doing 40% less damage, and he is wow, that's a lot less damage than I was anticipating. But yeah, he's doing way less damage than before. I believe it should be 60% less damage. 1.5, 3, 4.5. Yeah, it's about 30% damage, but the thing is that for some reason his throw does like 75% less damage or something ridiculous like that. Anyhow, so you gotta be extremely careful and manage your boosts. The good news is that if you boost, you can do your thing, what have you, run in. Then when you've almost run out, you can boost again to reset the timer. And then potentially kill the opponent. Hopefully kill the opponent anyway, because otherwise you're in some serious trouble with Bane. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have... I'm going to... Oops, I need to set player 2 to be Bane when I do this. So I'm just going to show you how much damage he takes at each Venom level. So this is going to take a little while to record. Fortunately, there's a little timer there. I can only record for more than a minute. So this is just to show damage reduction and damage increase and all that. And then level 3. You can even see he like kind of gets all veiny and gross when he pumps himself up. And then he's like this for a little while. And then there we go. He's all veiny again. Okay. So Bane doesn't take much less damage. I think it's 2.5. So it's 0.5, 10. I think it's only 5% less damage that he takes at level 1. So you can definitely still hit him, but he is armored. But remember, he gains 1 hit of armor on activation of every special move. Command grab and charge and all that. And then look at that, it's 10% more damage that he takes during that brief cooldown. That's 4.25, so that is just under 20%. And he's taking 25% more damage. And then now that at level 3, 3.5, so 7, so that's 30% less damage he's taking. So it's... And then look at that. Now he's taking 50% more damage. So it's like the damage buffs kind of transfer between characters depending on how things work out. But one other weakness that he has in trait I should mention is that here's his back walking speed and here's his forward walking speed. Now look at how slowly he moves when he is in withdrawal. He's a damn turtle. So you need to be wary of that. And like I said, there's armor to be involved, so ready? Oh, that's right, in that full blast he becomes projectile immune, so see? Armor. Stop a zoner, right? And then at level 3, no projectile is going to stop Bane. Nobody can stop the Bane train. And then I believe, yeah, that's all I have to talk about with Venom Boost. But then let's talk about Break the Bat. It's a running command grab super. And it doesn't scale on hit like most of the other supers do. And And it does a lot of damage. The only thing is that it's 2/3 screen. But here's the thing. Suppose that you got Venom up. You land this, 50% extra damage in the whole super. Even if you almost run out when the super animation kicks in. So, look at that, 54%. So here's what I would do if I'm at level 3 and I have meter, and I have the meter for super, and the super will kill. Boom. Watch this damage. Look at this damage. Ready for this damage? Bam! 70%, which means if I had taken out 30% of your health by this point, and I have Venom and I have meter, you're dead. And remember that combo from earlier? With the backbreaker? It's 53%, so what I would do it at level 2. Now who's stopping you? That's the nice thing about being able to kind of adjust your Venom flow. So I can just do this, get my 25% damage boost. End the combo, do what I want. Get me amplify. And remember, stage transitions are also affected by the Venom, so look forward to a lot of damage this way. However, if a stage transition occurs while he's on cooldown, like this, the stage transition itself is not going to do that much damage. And in fact, I think I timed it perfectly where yeah, it's back to normal. So if I had run out of level 3 juice, and then I did it during cooldown, oh, it does reset during the stage transition. That is weird. Most of the time, this doesn't happen. So, oh, then it resets. That's funky. Yeah, so it resets, but then it doesn't. Anyhow, that's Bane. Now let's move on to our alien friend, shall we? Get this clown out of here.
Martian Manhunter. Zod.
If any two characters epitomize NetherRealm's ability to make DLC scary, these two are it. Every single reason you could ever want to play these characters is here. So why don't we get started with Martian Manhunter, who doesn't really have anything unique in normals, so we're just going to focus on his normals, or on his combo strings. We're going to start with Ravaged World. Ends with an overhead and knocks down. The thing is that he doesn't have the greatest range on his normals, but that can change with this trait. And then there's Alien Invasion, which is special cancelable in the air. And even if you let it rock, I think you can... Okay, you can't get a standing jab. Can you get... No, you can't. So you gotta special cancel it, but Alien Invasion can be used for combos. Big Green Buddy. This is a funky looking mid. I believe it's actually... It says it's a mid, but I think it's actually a high. So I'm just gonna get Zod to duck. Yeah, so this is a high. But both... It's two highs that end with an overhead. So, the idea here would actually be to anti-air somebody with this. So you could do something like this. and then get somebody to back up. Light to the light. Starts off with this low here. Fairly quick, has good range. And then that little shunt punch knocks the opponent back, which Martian Manhunter excels at just about any range, so that's all well and good. And even if he is beaten by a zoner, well, guess what? He has a teleport, which we'll talk about later. Stranded, you've seen earlier, comes off of what would appear to be a mid, but I believe it's actually a high. Nope, it's actually a mid. So this is where you have to test every once in a while just to make sure that it's actually a mid, because remember, Big Green Buddy starts off of what isn't a mid, it's actually a high. I think it's a special high though, so duck this? No. Because if it was a special high, Zod would have to duck it. Zod would have to block this thing. If he's crouch blocking, but no, it's actually a high. Don't be fooled by the in-game description, this is actually a high. In fact, it's much better for anti-airs than anything. So, this is an anti-air conversion. Like this. Or, be better if I do this. Come on. Come on. I know this can land. Yeah, this is better off of an anti-air conversion like that. Take some practice, but you can get it. Extraterrestrial launches the opponent with a fairly slow mid, so if you want safety, you can knock them down at close range. If you want to get risky, then you can use the launcher version. 0 hour, clear mind, blood wind. So 0 hour comes off of this great big overhead that you don't get anything off of except for a special move, I think. Yeah. Yeah, you only get a special move off of this thing. Wallop. But you have to dial in the last 3 bits. But at any point, you can special cancel it. Except for the end, so you can do something like this. Catch them with the Psyche Bomb. Oh, it is actually special cancelable. Kind of. But, I don't... Okay, let's try that. Yeah, not a lot's gonna catch this. But it is special cancelable through and through. You just have to dial in the mids pretty quickly. Clear mind. Despite how this looks, this is actually a mid. This is not an overhead. And before you ask, oh, but can I block it if I'm crouching? Because it looks like an overhead. And you said to watch for that. No. True mid. True mid every time. So, true mid goes into a low, though. This would be pretty fast for an overhead, too. Especially one that's low. And special cancelable like this. Blood wind, though, launches the opponent into the air and would be your combo ender. Because look at that, 20%. If you can land this full string, which I think is easier to do in the corner. Okay, let's try this. Come on. Oh yeah, that can work. So look at that. In the corner, meterless, 30%. That's not bad at all. Now let's talk about special moves, because this guy has a lot of them. Track. Oh, and he can mix this shit too? Okay, so, Martian Grab. It's probably the most traditional special move that he actually has. It's a low grab which I believe is not a true grab, but it's a low. Grab, slam. Amplify to slam the opponent upwards. You only get one of these per combo, but if you got the opponent scared of this overhead, then you can knock the opponent back that way. So, or remember that he's got a couple of native overheads. He's got this one. So, overhead grab, and then whatever you want afterwards. Psyche Bomb, or Psyche Orb. This is a very funky move. This is where Martian Manhunter begins to get weird, but nonetheless really good. Close, mid, far, which doesn't actually look all that different, and then very far. So he doesn't have a full screen version of this, but he can set them up. He can only have one up at a time, and you can only have one of them up at a time, but they kind of act like delayed bombs. And if you have this set up, you can get combos. Not the greatest combos in the world, mind you, because the scaling is really strong here. Like you almost lose half of this, whereas if you just loop two of these back and forth, you only lose about a third. So it's not the greatest combo thing in the world, but this is a very good setup tool, for tricky type characters. And then he can amplify it. To turn it into a mine. Let's do this. So if an opponent tries to jump, they're gonna eat the Psyche Orb and eat more damage. So that's the idea behind Psyche Orb. Now I'm actually gonna drop these two because he's got two more moves. Yes, Martian Manhunter has a lot of special moves. Alien Pillar has just like Psyche Orb, has a couple of different ranges. We have close, mid, far, full. And unlike the far version of the orb, it's actually full screen. So you can set this far and then this far. You can. It doesn't seem to combo into itself. Unless. Yeah, certain attacks can combo into this. But it's best used. But I'm not even sure if it can be needlessly used as combos in the corner. Yeah, no. This is more to check zones. If you amplify it, it tracks the opponent, launches, and does more damage. But just like the orb, it scales pretty hard. So you might almost be better to let's do this. And get your combo that way. But remember, this scales pretty hard, so you need to be careful with that. Telekinetic Strike is next. This is not a combo extender, but instead a projectile of sorts. You have close, mid, and far. The far version does hit full screen, but that's about all it can hit. These are overhead, they do good damage. These help Martian Manhunter zone opponents that don't have great projectiles. So, in the rock, paper, scissors of the zone game that is Injustice, remember how, I don't think I mentioned this before, but remember this. There's a rock, paper, scissors element to keep away in general. Projectiles beat rushdown. Rushdown beats teleports, because teleports are generally punishable, and teleports beat zoning. So, if you got an opponent that can't teleport, but has to get in, they can't duck and walk forward, because they have to be careful of random psychic meteors. And if he amplifies it, then he doesn't have to be careful, because look, more damage, and 3 of them are called down. And if you get a back 3 first, you can actually extend combos this way. Let's see. Might be better if you just do it off of one of these. Like if you were to If you were to somehow get lucky, yeah, you'd definitely be able to hypothetically combo that way, but it's not easy. That's my point. It's not easy, but you could theoretically combo off of the multiple meteors. But you would use Alien Killer in conjunction with this, because it reaches pretty far, it's faster, and it's a mid, so it can interrupt zoning. But if the opponent's thinking about coming in, tell them no with a telekinetic strike. Psionic Push. This shoves the opponent back in a telekinetic push that does decent damage. This would be good to end certain combos with. And remember, look at this distance. You're basically full screen against Martian Manhunter, which is something you don't want to be dealing with because of this and the Psyche Orbs, and another attack that he has that you've seen before, which is the Teleport, which we'll talk about soon. Psionic Push, though, can be amplified to be a really good combo ender. Let's see if I can do this right. Oh, yeah. How about... Oh, that's right, he has the knee. But I don't think he can do this in the air, can he? No. So here's what I'm going to do. Just something simple. Look at that, 31% for one bar, and you've got all that distance. Next is Phase Charge. Charge towards the opponent while you phase through. I don't believe that it goes through projectiles, though. I don't know. I don't remember that about Zod. So, okay. Hold on, does it actually go through projectiles? No, it doesn't. Despite the fact that it's called Phase Push, it doesn't go through projectiles. So, that's nice at least. But, Phase Charge, you end and side switch. But if you amplify, you not only get more damage, you get... Not only do you get more damage if you mess up, you get combos! You get combo potential, so... That should hit. So you can combo off of this strength if you have really good timing. And then get your combos that way. Just remember that you need to be mindful of positioning and everything. Martian Manhunter isn't easy per se, but once you get him figured out, he can be terrifying. Then there's Phase Assault, which I talked about, which I've been dotting throughout. This is where Martian Manhunter faces through the floor, teleports, and attacks the opponent. So, you can use this as a meterless combo extender that beats projectiles. How's that? Let me see if I can get this right. How come I'm not getting my... I should be able to get Phase Charge after this. Yeah, there we go. And then I can also get Psionic Push. I can get a lot of things off after a Phase Assault. And I can't even meter burn it. But here's the thing. I can also do it in the air. Which means instant air teleports. Look at that. Look how fast that is in comparison to just doing it on the ground. So you get all this time. Or you gotta deal with it like this. Look at that! If I'm fast, I can do this almost twice as quickly. Meaning that I can jump on reaction to seeing a solar projectile coming in and say, nope! That is madness, and I love it. But here's the thing. While this is a mid, to be sure, there's actually an overhead version where he drops down. And I believe it actually has less combo scaling as well. Meaning if you want damage, you do the downward Phase Assault. But I wonder if it's, I'm curious, just to see what the frame data says for this thing. Minus 36 on block, really? And then minus 8? No fucking way is that thing -8. Yeah, see how slow the mid is? And then there's even a little bit of pushback too, so it's difficult for some characters to punish. So, wow, that's actually not bad. Yeah, he even pushes himself back a little bit further on block. That's crazy. But like I said, one of the fastest overheads you could ever have. How do you like that? It doesn't normally, I don't think. Yeah, that's the only caveat. It's a little harder to combo into. But what does that matter if you can do it off of any jump in that you want, except for jumping heavy? You have to do the uppercut version for that, but that's fine. If you get a jumping 2 that's grounded, come on, I just did this thing. There you go. You can get some combos that way too. Now let's talk about his trait. Alien Malleability. Wait, what? Oh, he also has a... Okay, so he has an air dash. But unlike other characters that have an air dash... Excuse me? I never knew this about Martian Manhunter. I've been playing this game on and off for like 7 years and I've never known this. So, hold on. What's the time for that? I don't know what the timing is for that, but you can absolutely amplify it. Can you only do it twice, though? I don't know what the timing is for that, but you can amplify it. That's interesting. But we're here to talk about his real trait, Alien Malleability. For as long as the arm at the bottom is stretchy, so is Martian Manhunter. And he also gains a 10% damage boost. Note the range of the jab here. Like, it misses at this range. You can hit the opponent here. I can hit the opponent with this. Clobber them with this. Clobber them with this. Look at the, like, that's his jumping medium. That's his jumping medium. He gets super stretchy. And this is where things can get fun with Martian Manhunter. He can get, that's right. Look at that. I don't think he can get that naturally. Oh, he can. But he does less damage, so... Look at that. Look at that easy damage. And, of course, it looks weird when he's super stretchy like that, because... Either way, he gets stretchy, so he adds more range to his attacks, and they do a little more damage. Relatively straightforward. And then there's his super move, Son of Mars. Coming in with a helix punch, clone the opponent, batter them around, get huge, smash. Typical super, nothing too crazy. But here's the thing: with trait active, its range doubles. So what I can do is catch them with this, whether in stretchy form or not in stretchy form. To smush them for pretty decent damage, I have to say. Now let's talk about General Zod. This guy is also terrifying. Where is that? There it is. He doesn't have anything unique here as far as normals go. We'll start with the last days. General Zod is supposed to be like a military-trained Superman, in a sense, so he's got a little bit of trickiness to him. So, he uses his exhale to trip you up. He doesn't have super breath in any other thing, really. He doesn't have a super breath special move. He uses this for a tricky low with good range and no hurt box beyond where Zod actually is, because it's super breath. You're not going to hurt him by hitting that. Then there's Supreme Ruler, which features a throw ender, I believe, a special cancelable one too. So you can get certain ranged attacks down as well. Impossible sneaks a tricky overhead in there, is special cancelable at any point, and is generally a pretty good way to keep the opponent on their toes. Darkness Rain comes off of this low, which then goes mid and wallops the opponent. This is your knockdown, and if you get knocked down by Zod, you're in trouble, because he has all kinds of tricks with the heat vision. Because he doesn't treat it as a projectile. Watch. See, the heat vision is going right through Martian Manhunter's waist, because it doesn't actually hit. What hits is the explosion. That's the idea there. But we're not there yet. Betrayal sneaks an overhead in there, and also is special cancelable. You Will Fall is just like Supreme Ruler in its ender, but it does a little bit less damage, and it comes off of a mid instead of a high. So while the high is faster, you'll be able to catch an opponent who's trying to punish your high just by neutral ducking. So then we have, let's see, You Are a Fool, Tyrant, Fallen General, and I Always Win. So, You Are a Fool features a low that can then be converted into a launcher that knocks the opponent back, but is also special cancelable to his air charge. Tyrant keeps Zod grounded, but similarly is special cancelable. Fallen General has him summon a Kryptonian plasma rifle to bot the opponent. This can launch to do decent damage. Then there's I Always Win, which is one of these crouching strings, which is special cancelable. And look at that damage that I got for technically 2 bars, but I got it off of a crouching punish. I got this off of a down 1. So be wary of that. If I really wanted to, I could get 42% for 3 bar, but again, that's a bit expensive. Then we have where things get dumb. Okay, so sidearm, a relatively slow projectile. I say relatively slow just on startup. The projectile itself is pretty quick. Amplify to keep them standing, and just, this is really odd to see a Kryptonian with heat vision use a gun, but it actually works pretty well because it's Zod we're talking about. He has access to Kryptonian technology, so why not use what he knows? Just like the Kryptonian rifle. It's slower, but it's a mid. And you can even fire it upwards to combo at full screen. Even at start of the, almost at start of the match, you can do this. Oh yeah, like this would be optimal to use as a starter. Because look at how high they go. Only Fujin can really get higher than this. Look at that. I get 3 dashes in and I crossed them up. Oh yeah. This it's gonna be tricky as hell. But yeah, you can get stuff off of that for sure. And if you do it in the air, you have it in the air as well. And he fires it downwards to paint the screen. And the reason why this is scary is that, remember I was talking about instant airs with Cyborg and Martian Manhunter. With Zod, this alone shuts down Lex Luthor entirely. Because he's a big body character, he's more like, the leniency with this is a lot better than with some other characters. You get the instant airs going with this character, and this is why Lex Luthor versus Zod is a 9-1 in Zod's favor. Instant air rifle completely shuts down Lex Luthor. Because even if he manages to armor up and ignores one, he'll be able to only get a dash, and guess what? You are back in full screen. And remember, I'm not the best at anti-airs, and I'm doing this off of a pad. If I had a hitbox and more training, this would be so consistent, it's not even funny. So, be mindful of instant airs with Zod. This will shut down Lex Luthor. If you're a Lex Luthor main and you see your opponent is a Zod main, just pick somebody else. Seriously, you will lose against an even halfway competent Zod. Because Zod just shuts down Lex Luthor so hard. Thankfully, there aren't any NRS matches like this since, but still. Oh boy. Yeah, let's clear the gun stuff for now, because there's a few other things. Oh! And I almost forgot! You can also make the shots move slower. So that's slow and mid, and here's fast. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this insanity. Like, you don't really get combos, but you cover a serious amount of the screen at full screen. Anyway. So yeah, that's the thing to keep in mind with the rifle. Let's not forget the instant air rifles can also have their round speeds altered. So again, good luck, Lex Luthor, or any big body character, really. You're in serious trouble against Zod because of this. Now there's Zod Charge, which you might have seen before. It's a far-reaching mid, kind of like Superman's super move, but it isn't full screen. And ends in a slam that gives Zod some range, which, fuck, you do not want Zod to have range. I mean, Zod's really good at close range, but if you give Zod the ability to use his guns, it's all over. Especially since he amplifies it to get basically full screen, so a basic conversion like this turns into a death sentence for big body characters with trouble getting in on zoners, like Bane or Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor in particular. At least at level 3 Venom, Bane is immune to projectiles. Lex doesn't have really anything to deal with extremely heavy zoning like that. Then there's Ground Blast, which I talked about briefly before because the heat vision will not hit. The explosion will. And this is one of those attacks that charges. So that's level 5. That's level 1. That's level 2. And that's level 3. If you let this rock, which is totally possible because with all the zoning and shit, then he can just start peppering these in. And then let's say he staggers you into it, and you try to punish from that range. Oops, you just ate 12%. And if he wants to be particularly tricky, at any point he can amplify to make little explosions to launch you. So not exactly practical damage, but regardless. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention this about Bane. Bane, Martian Manhunter, and Zod are all power characters, so they'll all do stuff like this. And smash stuff. Ground Blast, we already did. Phantom Strike. Advancing mid that warps the opponent backwards. On Amplify,
No one can help you.
it's a damage enter, so
No one can help
and is a good alternative to the Zod chart because Zod chart side switches.
Follow your fate.
And you definitely do not want to side switch with Zod because you want all of this range in order to zone comfortably. So sometimes if you have the corner, which is totally understandable,
No one can help you.
keep him there. And then throw him. General Parry. This will parry a lot of different kinds of attacks. So I'm just going to jump in and then do forward one. It's a pretty savage parry too. Especially on arms. Decent damage. It can't be meter burn though. And you can see that he's got training there. I wonder if you can side switch. Hold back. No, you don't side switch with the parry. But let's go here. Because you can also parry mids. Same damage. Same damage, and it knocks them back to the same benefit. So it parries. It's a general parry. It says it parries overheads and highs, but this will also parry mids as well. And the nice thing about this parry, if memory serves, is it's actually pretty quick as well. Yeah, general parry is 3 frames. So if your opponent is -4 and they try to punish you with a poke or something, deny them. You could deny them with this 3-frame parry for 12% damage. Now let's talk about a super move. It's technically supposed to be an anti-air, but it has really good range. It's called Galactic Destruction, which is a bit of a misnomer, but he definitely punches a hole in the moon. And this is pretty good if you want to convert off of a high combo, catch them, off you go into space. Smash them, close out the round with this thing. And with that, that's every single character in Injustice Gods Among Us. I will probably end up doing these for Injustice 2 in the near future, but I'm definitely going to be, whenever I get better, I'm going to go back to doing Mortal Kombat 11 as well. So, let me know which characters are your favorite from Injustice 1. Any characters that you want me to recover, let me know, and I'll link you guys. Don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you guys on the other side.